Thank you for joining us again for another episode of D&D brought to you by Battle Cry or Die. We are currently going through Hood of the Dragon Queen, which is a 5e module, for those of you that don't know. So last we saw our heroes, they had attained or acquired an airship with which they utilized to ascend from beneath, within the depths, or from within the depths beneath Castle Dragonspear that they're currently turning into Doncaster Castle. After ascending into the air in pursuit of a succubus, they caught up to the succubus, managed to subdue her, and are headed back towards Dragonspear. The succubus had grabbed a child. That is where we left off. However, this particular episode, our story is going to take us far east of the Sword Coast, where we find a second airship. Now, this airship is utilized by the Guild of Acquisitions and Tactical Support. It is a particular guild that is currently working towards the goal of building an air fleet for militaristic purposes of their own that other, general populace is not quite sure of. Even some of the members themselves are not 100% sure. So tonight we have Ricard Bethrow playing as Kilgore Wolfsbane, our Skadric, was it Frostfang?
Yeah.
Skadric Frostfang playing Apora, and Roland Fallon, who is playing Victor Redgrave. These are all members of aboard this particular airship. Now, this airship is roughly, it's a little smaller than a galleon. It has a crew, or can hold a crew of 20. It currently has a crew of 17 plus you 3. So you guys have 10 combatants, 5 loaders, 5 shooters for the cannons. That can also be utilized for crossbow and shortbow usage. You have 2 that are for maintenance and repair. They're essentially your engineers who specialize in crystalline repair as well as carpentry that is specifically airship based, and 5 general action for cleaning, and or also this includes your cook. So as you guys note, the various ship parts all have an AC as well as hit points that is noted in your little note there. So our guild members are headed westward due to the guild having heard rumors of an airship lying beneath this particular castle. And so they are in progress of searching or heading westward towards the Sword Coast in search of that ship. Now, they have a few contracts that they've been given that they it has been requested of them to fulfill either along the way there or on the way back. They have heard rumor of a blue dragon that exists in the northward mountains along the way. Let me pull up my map of Faerun. So you guys are coming from eastward Faerun, headed westward, and you are rapidly approaching the first contracts area, which is this blue dragon. Now, this particular blue dragon has been terrorizing a small town that exists at the base of the southern portion of the mountains. There is, however, rumored a village that exists somewhere up in the mountains that has been said to have peoples that worship this particular dragon. Though those have been unconfirmed, and anybody who went to confirm such did not come back. So that is the first contract. The second contract is there is a political dispute going on between two kingdoms that are southwestern from where you guys are, and a little more of a distance, probably 3 or 4 days travel from where you are. And it would cause you to deviate from your course headed towards the Sword Coast a little bit, but not too much. Um, and so you have that contract available that at some point they want you to take care of, either on the way there or the way back, whichever. And then, of course, the contract to acquire, to verify rumors of and acquire the ship that lies beneath, within the depths of Dragonspear. Or rumored to be beneath the depths of Dragonspear. So that is your current course, as well as the contracts that you hold. Now, the contracts that you hold also have some additional benefit to them. So one of the benefits of being a part of the guild is you can leverage some of your or some of the guild's say-so to attain monetary prize from some other thing. So it's essentially like if you were to kill the dragon, collecting some of its parts, or if you find treasures that are withheld within the dragon's home, if the dragon has a home, and were to return with those, it would elicit additional bonuses. That's some of the guild bonus that you guys get for such. Same thing with the diplomatic situation. If you are to resolve the diplomatic situation without combat, it would elicit additional bonus. But also, if you were to attain for the guild partnership of sorts, then that would also elicit additional bonus. And then, of course, if you verify and return with the airship from Dragonspear, that also would elicit additional bonus. Now, given the amount of time that it's going to take to Dragonspear, unless we do like a huge fast forward in time, that wouldn't be something you guys would accomplish in this particular mission or session, I should say.
Fair enough.
So, what would you guys? How would you guys like to proceed? Yeah.
So, just, and this is probably something we should discuss before we started, but how long have we known each other?
A good while. So you guys you guys have known each other for a while. You've all been a part of the guild for a number of years for various reasons, and have grown to build whatever relationship you desire to build. However, the one thing that exists in and among the guild itself is trust. Everybody knows that no matter how much hell they give each other, it is a situation where the guild stands together. There's a severe guild loyalty. So anybody who is standing for the guild will have everybody else that is a part of the guild standing with them. Anybody who turns against the guild or leaves the guild or is not a part of the guild essentially has there's a very large bias, a very, very large, even if it's like one of those situations where if two people got in an argument and one of them was right, but the other one was a guild member, everybody else would side with the guild member.
Okay. So basically, we may not we don't have to necessarily be friends, but we do trust each other.
Right. Absolutely.
Should we go through and have everybody do an introduction of each other to the viewers and to ourselves?
It would definitely give the viewers some ideas about y'all's characters.
Okay.
So if y'all want to go through, mention your race, class, and a little bit about your character.
I'll volunteer to go first then, I guess, since I'm part of that.
Thank you.
Do we need to do this in character? Yeah,
sure.
Does that sound okay? All right.
I like that.
Hello, my name is Kilgore Wolfsbane. I'm a Goliath barbarian. Left my tribe many years ago, before I reached adult age, uh, to make my way and become a hero for my people. I started out as a gladiator because not many people will give more meaningful work to a Goliath, but I excelled at it. I found my way with the fame I gained as a gladiator, joining the guild, and that has been my home since. We have many stories to tell of what we've done so far, and I aim to gain even more fame in our adventures to come.
Cool.
I'm just gonna walk into whatever room he's in, and I'm gonna say, Kilgore, why are you telling the chef we just hired your entire backstory?
Well, he seems like a good guy. He's making good food, and we always have a story to tell, Victor.
Did he ask?
No, it doesn't
Okay.
have to.
All right.
Well, it's just like that time my father crushed a bear skull in his bare hand.
Before he gets started again, I'll just go ahead and tell you a little bit about myself, so you don't have to ask. My name is Victor, or this is the name I'm going by now. Yes, that's ominous. Get over it. You can call me V if you don't feel like using that many syllables. I honestly don't care. Oh, do you want to know more? Well, you don't get to know more. Not today, anyway. I'm sure our friend... How do you say your name, Ron?
Apora.
Apora.
Hey.
All about himself.
I'm gonna
Did
lean over
someone say
toward
my
the shelf.
name?
I'm gonna lean over toward the shelf and go, Chef, and say, "Hey, Victor likes to be the dark and mysterious. It's okay."
Hey, did Victor say my name?
Yes, he did.
Hey guys.
Oh God. Are you in fully capable mentality right now? Or
Of course,
you're not?
man.
Sure.
I just go with the flow, man. Like,
Oh, we
just
know.
gotta go with it. It's like life, man. You just gotta let the winds take you. Oh, hi. I haven't introduced myself. My name is Apora. Apora Windstrider. I left my town a long time ago. I lived in a tribe on a mountain side. There's nothing I wouldn't do for the tribe, but I had to get out on my own. So, what are you cooking? You got a lot of it, or?
They look, and he's holding this big, like, bowl type deal or whatever, and he's like flicking some kind of grain over around. He's got some chopped onions. You see like this variety of chopped onions and like mushrooms and things in this giant bowl, and he's kind of swishing it around this little open type fire that appears to be built out of some very incredibly insulative material so as not to catch the ship on fire. And
looks scrumptious.
He just kind of scowls, and he takes this massive like ladle and scoops out this thing and puts it into a bowl and like slides it across the table to you guys.
Do you have a problem?
Yeah, what's the point of the look on your face? Do I need to rearrange it and place it in your ass?
He just looks and he says, RBF. And he scoops out another ladle, puts it into the bowl, slides it across, and he's like, Huh? You never heard of that? And he scoops another ladle, puts it in the bowl, slides it to the third of you.
I don't recall
RBF.
asking for anything, sir.
No, I never heard of it.
What is
Right.
RBF?
Resting bitch face.
Oh. Apologies for not pat him on the back with the big giant hand and kind of probably knock him forward a little bit into the bowl he's holding.
Mm.
I take the bowl. I'm like,
We had the wolf that way. He was a pet of my cousin's, and my cousin killed it.
all
yeah.
right, I'm gonna go ahead and.
At this point, you guys hear some footsteps coming down the stairs, and there's the wood of this ship is a little bit creaky. So you guys hear the staircase that leads up to the next deck up, or to the next level up in the ship, begin to creak as some footsteps coming down the stairs approach, and you hear a voice yell beneath. We're not far from the area of the first contract. How would you guys like to proceed?
What was the first contract again?
Rumors of a blue dragon in the northern mountains.
Porter's just slurping the bowl.
We're gonna in order, or did we decide this beforehand?
So there's been some talk about it or whatever, but not 100%. There was never 100% decision. So essentially, the way that the ship has been steering was kind of headed towards that area, but it wasn't like a specific course set for that.
DM, is there any other information on how powerful the dragon is? Blue dragon, gotcha. But like, what's its renown?
So the area, there is just south of the mountains where the dragon is rumored to be or said to be. There is a very, very great fear in the peoples that exist there. The terminology or phraseology that's being utilized to describe the dragon is something that is great and mighty, something that even the royal guardsmen are afraid to tackle. One of the reasons why the desire was put out to the guild, or the contract was given to the guild. So it is definitely, of the information that you guys have, it is something that is definitely of great power or tremendous power.
Okay.
So who's the genius that decided to send the three of us to fight some great dragon? Is anyone aware?
The guild master, as far as I know.
Oh, yes. I have to have a word with him when I get back.
He usually gives out the orders, so.
Yes.
So.
So do either of you want to die today? Is that what we are deciding on? Whether or not we die today or on the way back?
I mean, so DM, what's our combat capacity on the ship in general? Can I do I need to roll a check for that, or do we think this ship is capable of taking on a blue dragon?
So it is definitely pretty renowned, and it's been utilized before by other peoples in the guild to handle adult dragons. Though the last time it came back from an adult dragon fight, it came back quite a bit beat up.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it's not that strange, huh? Because didn't some other guys do it the other day?
I mean,
So the cook,
I don't know about the other day, and I look over at the cook as he starts to talk.
He says, probably a year ago. Don't Black Dragon. Over
It's been a
towards,
year.
southwest of where the guild was, or is. Heard them came back. They're pretty beat up. Don't know they were formidable as you guys, but wasn't bad. Seemed to have some pretty good success.
You know what? I like you. You give me motivation.
One thing I'm
No.
looking.
I look over at Victor. I'm like, is a porter high? I mean, I know we're up in the air. I get all that, and
At this point,
he can
it's
fly, but is he high?
anyone's guess. You walk into the room, coin.
Don't mind that. Don't mind that.
Okay, so as you, the cook looks forward and says, you look at the contract completely. Look it over all the way. Which you guys have, and one of the things that you recall are the numbers. So it's a 50,000 gold reward for killing this particular dragon, but the biggest interest that the guild has is a partnership with the kingdom that is at the base of the mountains. So essentially, the kingdom will aid the guild in whatever goals the guild has set for themselves.
Does it state whether or not the guild or the kingdom will assist in the slaying of the dragon, or are they just expecting us to do that?
Oh, they're expecting you to do that. The kingdom
Gotcha,
won't touch it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's why we get paid, huh?
I mean, this is a blue dragon, and I kind of pat the great sword on my shoulder. I shouldn't have too big of a problem dealing damage to it.
I do appreciate your confidence, Kilgore.
And he kind of raises his shoulders, and you see kind of his muscles ripple. And yes, thank you, Victor. I believe in you too.
Victor's just been looking like dead at the wall. Like,
So
he hasn't moved his head at all. He's just talking.
So the gentleman that was standing there waiting on orders for direction, he says, "Aye, aye," and he just runs back up the stairs. And so you hear the wood on the floor above creaking a little bit, and then you hear some orders being shouted, and then the creaking kind of settles for a moment. But then the hustle and bustle of preparation of the ship begins. So he has essentially taken that as a conveyance of acceptance to take on that particular task. That's the assumption that you guys get. So you have the opportunity to thwart or change that should you desire to do so.
Do we want to thwart or change that? We can talk out of character for a second. Do y'all want to go into fighting the blue dragon?
I'm down.
That's totally up to you guys. I'm just gonna.
Or do we want to move forward? What's our second objective, DM?
The second objective is a diplomatic mission where you are to disguise and infiltrate disguise yourselves and infiltrate into this political procession that is taking place between two kingdoms. And essentially what they're attempting to do, or what the guild is attempting to do, is open air tradeways. That's the primary purpose. However, one of the kingdoms, knowing about this, has a severe dislike or disdain for such. The other kingdom is open to the idea but does not want to do so. Now, what the two kingdoms are getting together about is whether or not to decide that there is a battle that's going to take place because the two kingdoms border each other. So essentially, their battle is won for land where the two kingdoms meet. So what the guild wants or would prefer is that there is a peaceful resolution between the two, with the acceptance of air tradeway to be essentially open. So
Okay.
that's the second contract.
So out of character, I feel like the dragon thing would be more exciting. But the diplomatic one would probably be the one my character would survive. So
Yeah, because this was, you said it was of great renown, so we're assuming like an adult dragon at the very least. Yeah. Yeah, kind of look at them. Yeah,
totally up to you guys.
if it was a young dragon, I would not be worried at all.
Cool.
We wouldn't have anyone, like, I would know we wouldn't have anyone on the ship that can heal us. I would know that, correct?
So what you know is that the ship has some provisions that have already been provided, the food and such, or whatever. In and among those provisions is a set of 15 healing potions
Okay.
that have been provided. Now that's for general use, and that is also for the it's for the entire crew of the ship, not just you guys. So
maybe we hold off on the dragon till we have some healing reinforcements.
Oh, I've never seen you turn from a fight.
It is a little odd, Kilgore.
I'm not. I just don't want to be the only one surviving. That's all. I joke. I pat you both on the shoulder.
Okay, so the are you guys diverting them?
I'm gonna pull out a coin and flip it. Okay.
Shit.
I like his. I like his deal.
Air.
I like his deal.
You want to do 1 and 2s or
I call,
oh, no, I literally just flipped a coin.
I call heads.
Heads for what?
Heads is what?
We go to the dragon.
It's heads. It's right there. It's heads. The dragon it is.
All right.
I like your style, Kilgore.
So, as you guys are driving or whatever, as you're flying along, there begins to be a little bit of turbulence, and the ship kind of jostles some or whatever. You see the cook pick up like this bucket type deal that he has of water that's sitting over to the side, and he douses the fire that he was cooking with or whatever, and he's like, "Don't want that running if we're going to hit turbulence." So he douses the fire. He begins to kind of take what he's cooked and dump it into this barrel that he has right there next to you guys. And so he begins cleaning the kitchen area. As he's doing so, you guys see the two engineers of the ship begin to make their way across the bottom deck, and they're essentially checking for any flaws in the hull of the ship from the inside. Now, one of the things that you guys know about is that on occasion, these engineers will utilize a series of ropes that have been wrapped around the bottom of the ship to check the outside of the bottom of the hull also. And they generally do this while the ship is on the ground, but if need to, they can utilize this series of ropes to do so while the ship is in the air. Though they generally demand hazard pay when they have to do so. Also, you note that hull damage doesn't affect the ship flight speed. It is only damage to the crystals that does so. So you hear the wind begin to pick up a bit, and the temperature begins to drop as you guys note the ship approaching the northern mountains. Another man, a second person, comes down to the deck that you guys are sitting at and asks if you guys would like to set at the base of the mountains to try and gather some more information in one of the towns / and or cities that is there. Or would you guys like to proceed and see if you can find the village that is up in the mountains towards where the dragon's lair is, or is rumored to be?
I would rather gather some information. What do you say, Victor?
Sounds like a smart idea and a stupid plan.
Mm-hmm.
He says very well. He kind of does the guild salute, and he makes his way back up onto the top deck. You guys feel the ship turn slightly and begin to descend. So after about a day's worth of travel, maybe a day and a half, you guys arrive at there's the small city. The small city exists at the base of the mountain. And when I say at the base of the mountain, it is literally at the foot of the mountain. So much so that the rear of, or the northernmost portion of the city is carved into the mountain's face. So the mountain acts as some natural reinforcement to the city. So you guys see that there are some walls surrounding this little city, and there is a castle towards the center of the northernmost portion of the city. You guys do see a clear delineation between the various social classes that exist. Though the city doesn't appear to be the wealthiest, there is definitely some air to what is there. There's definitely an air of, high class and a blending of the various social classes. So where there's not like... Anyway, so you guys sat down in a field that is to the south of the castle wall and make your way. As you make your way, you are granted passage through the castle wall. The guards mentioned that they were expecting you guys and were hopeful that you guys would show up. They're glad to see you, and you make your way into the city. So I want all of you to roll a charisma check and an investigation check. Now, what this is for is, as you guys are moving throughout the city, you're gathering information, and it's going to determine your level of interactions between all of the various peoples to see how much information and what kind of reputation you begin to gain as you're in the city collecting this information. So if you guys will make both of those rolls for me.
Is that an investigation and a charisma check?
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
16 on investigation, 3 on charisma.
18 on investigation, 22 on charisma.
Okay.
1 second.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I said our villages are in the mountains, but nothing like this.
Have a 17 on charisma and 11 on investigation.
Okay. So Apora, where you do manage to find out some information about the dragon. You've heard that there are rumors of some thefts that have taken place of some of the city's wealth. Um, People don't seem to particularly take a liking to you. They're not really familiar with Aarakocra, so they're not really akin to associating or affiliating with you. So you get this kind of off-putting sense, and most of the people that you talk to are reluctant to give you specific answers. Um,
If I notice that, I'm gonna kind of look towards those people.
uh-huh.
I'm not specifically say anything. Like, if you have a problem, please speak up and share with the rest of us.
So,
And that I guess I'm making an intimidation check.
yeah, you can do that.
I'm going
Should
to
you
assist
decide,
him in that, if that's okay, DM.
absolutely, yeah. So, should you desire to use intimidation also as part of you're welcome to do so, though keep in mind that it might negatively impact your reputation throughout the city.
Like, it's okay. It's okay. I get this quite often. It's
Um,
alright, bro.
but yeah, so go ahead and make your intimidation check, and you're being assisted, so you
Okay.
can make it with advantage.
Be like,
25.
Victor, please stay calm. You do not need to leave another rude villager in a puddle of ashes again. It was so bad last time. We had to pay the whole family reparation.
So Kilgore, whether you're not 100% sure whether it's out of demeanor or just like people's sheer fear of you, they definitely seem to be a bit more keen on giving you information. Though a couple of them, or quite a few of the people that you talk to, seem to stumble over their words a bit and kind of find themselves engulfed in or more focused on you and more focused on what you're about and trying to figure you out. And they some of the things that they say don't come across quite so plainly. Um, so in fact, it's such a case that you even almost hear, the rattle of nervous hands holding on to whatever some of the peoples that you talk to, what they hold most dear. So Victor, as you're going through, um, you have this, air about you, this sophistication that you utilize when interacting with peoples, and um, some of, especially some that are in the middle and high classes, begin to give you some specific information. So what everybody kind of gets in general is that there seems to be wealth that is being stolen. Um, and they're not 100% sure if it's people within the city that are doing so, or if it's villagers that are infiltrating the city and coming down from the mountain, or from where the village is up the mountainside, and stealing the wealth. Victor, what you managed to find out specifically is that there is a systemic or a systematic funneling of wealth from the city to the village as tribute, so as to, or in hopes of, staving off attacks on the city.
So people
One
in the
of
city are paying the villagers?
they're giving wealth from the city to the villagers to give to the dragon in hopes that the dragon will leave the city alone. Now, one of the things that you find out that is a little deeper is that there have also been a couple of cases of missing peoples that have turned up. And though the people are reluctant to tell you, given that they fear their families or themselves might be in danger, either of being killed or being the next disappearance, what you find out is, or the generalization that is implied, is that some of these missing persons cases that have happened are likely or are likely to be sacrifices that have been taken by villagers or sent to villagers um, to the dragon. Though you're not 100% sure if these people that are missing have been killed or if they've been taken to such for servitude. The other thing that you guys hear generally is that the village up the mountainside was for a very, very long time fairly inactive. At least any actions that were happening inside the village were kept pretty, you know, it was pretty unrecognizable. You know, it seemingly was just a normal mountain village. But the activity of that village has grown. So that's the information that you guys get.
Do I find out who's in charge of, I guess, either the city or the village? Is it the same person?
So it is not the same person, though you're not 100% sure of the relationship between the two. You do find out that the city is run by, let's see. What? Give me a second. I should have pulled this up before. Somebody named Shasta Casimir.
Shasta. Interesting. That's who's in charge of the city or the village?
The city.
Okay. Is there anyone that actually is living in the village, or is it just like a
Oh yeah,
ominous?
people.
Okay.
No, people definitely live there. Yeah.
All right, but I don't know who's in charge up there.
No.
Okay.
The people in the city mentioned that they generally stay away from or shy away from interactions with the village.
Okay. I'm gonna just look to Kilgore and Apor and say I think we need to find Shasta to try to figure out what exactly is happening here.
Very good. Who is Shasta?
Oh, he's the leader of this village.
Well, let's go.
And I'd
I'll look at
also
the.
tell them the other stuff about sacrifices potentially happening and all that.
I'd like to roll a persuasion on the closest villager.
Okay.
I'm gonna just walk up to him, 8 foot tall, gray. Just walk up to him, slowly and gently put a hand on his shoulder. Go, excuse me. Can you please point me in the direction of Shasta so I might find out from him the information I need and murder the dragon in great glory.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make that roll.
I get a
And
persuasion and then plus a die 4 from the glamour keep.
there you go. All right, guys, give me just a moment.
Oh shoot! That's a
I will
21.
be right back. 1 second.
So everybody, how you doing? Let me see.
Pretty good. I'd like to shout out to the Loophole King. He says, "Merry Christmas from the Loophole King. May all your rolls be crits." You too subbed as well. Have a great year.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, it's totally gnarly, yeah.
So did anybody have the foresight to buy a lightning resistance potion for fighting this blue dragon?
I had no clue, bruh.
It wasn't really the first thing on V's docket. He was like, hopefully we won't go fight that fucking dragon. So hopefully they'll just know we shouldn't fight the dragon first, right? They wouldn't do that.
I mean, it was first in line. It was number 1 on the list. I mean,
yes, but he immediately regrets getting on the airship altogether. You're just like, I had to take this mission.
Just think of the story we will be able to tell one day, Victor.
Okay. So are you guys wanting to head to the village, or are you looking for the city leader?
City leader, just so we can, I guess, gather as much information as possible.
I got a 21 persuasion with a nat 20 on getting the villager to tell me and possibly escort me if I push him in front of me like I'm leading him to the leader of the village.
Certainly, yeah. So he does so, and as you guys approach, you find that the largest building here, it had the appearance of being a castle from far away, and as you guys approach, one of the things that you take note of is the typical or the fundamentals of what makes a building a castle seem to be more aesthetic than functional for this particular building. It almost actually more closely resembles a glorified mansion than it does castle. It has the stereotypical castle towers and castle wall and everything, but the wall is only about 12 foot high, and it's made by smaller mason stones. It has a couple of towers in some of the corners, but the towers are more like columns. It looks like if there's anything on the inside to get to the top of them, it would be a ladder, and because there's no way that stairs would fit. And if there's even a ladder, it would have to be somebody fairly small that would climb them.
So I'm gonna look down at the villager that was leading us, helping us out with, my new buddy there. So what is up with the fake castle here?
He says Shasta is very particular on appearances, and he doesn't want to be looked on or looked down on by neighboring kingdoms.
Well, they would look down because he looks like a dumbass in a fake castle now.
He says, yes, we generally don't accept visitors for this reason.
Well,
hey, Kilgore, it's okay. It's okay, bro.
I'm just calling it how I see it.
It's 2-star out, man.
So as you guys approach, you're approaching the front gates or whatever, and you see there are a couple of people that are standing on either side of the gate, and this particular gate appears to be an iron portcullis, though you're not 100% sure how it would raise because there isn't very much wall above it for it to raise into. And as you guys approach, one of the two gentlemen actually moves to one side of this grate, and you hear some iron sliding on iron or whatever, and this massive iron door actually swings open. And he swings this what had the appearance of an iron portcullis open to one side, and then kind of steps aside for you guys to walk through. So one of the guardsmen, as you guys are walking through, kind of takes note and says that they've been expecting you. You must be members of the guild. They're so glad to see you. So as you guys are walking in, there is another man that is approaching from the mansion's front door.
How far away is he at this point?
So it's about 30 feet. He's about 30 feet away, so he's not that far. So he's walking down the mansion door has some front steps or whatever. And the front of the mansion it's made of what appears to be like some sort of clay brick. And you note that there are a couple of places that are grayed, but there is some ivy that's winding up the patterns of this of these gray bricks or clay bricks. I'm sorry. There are some glass windows, and though the glass windows are there, they're very large. They're a bit foggy, like the glass itself is foggy, almost as if it's been either frosted over or something's been done to it so as not to be able to see into the building. The front door that you see is very ornate. It appears to be some sort of mahogany door, and it has this gold lion head and knocker on the front of it. So it swings open. You hear it kind of creak as it swings open, and this what appears to be 15-year-old boy kind of comes strutting out. He's wearing what appears to be some sort of royal garb. It is blue and silver. So half of his garb is blue, the other half is silver. And he's wearing something that bears semblance to a jester's hat. He kind of comes down and he walks up to you guys, and he's like he steps in front of you guys, puts his arms and legs together, and puts his arms at his side, puts his legs together, and he bows very, very low. He stands back up straight, and he says, I am Cameo Vasily. We have been expecting you. We thank you for coming.
Insight check.
Go for it.
10. Okay.
So, yeah, he definitely has some sincerity about him, though you feel like he's being trained to be cordial or to act as if act like someone who's noble. So he leads you into this mansion, right? And as you're walking through the mansion or whatever, you note that there are bookshelves. Everything seems to be pretty low to the ground. Everything seems to be pretty low to the floor. The ladders that you see, the bookshelves run pretty high, but the ladders that you see are.
Ignore that. Just ignore that.
Oh, okay. The ladders that you see, the rungs of those ladders are closer together than normal ladders that you guys have seen constructed. So as you're walking in, you're led into this main hall, and this main hall is it's a decent sized hall. You know, it's no bigger than like the sanctuary of a temple or something. And when I say temple, I mean like, you know, mid-sized to maybe like lower mid-sized temple, right? There's a fairly large table in the center of it, but the table sits a little closer to the floor than normal. So much so that Kilgore, if you were to sit in one of the chairs at it, your knees would be above the table itself.
You might have to stand for this one, buddy.
As you
look at the table, is the table at the correct height for me to sit on it?
For you like to sit on the table?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Like, was this like a
Was this a formal banquet hall, or is this just
Yes.
okay? Then I won't sit on the table.
This appears to be a formal banquet hall.
I look at the guy that brought us in. I'm like, do you have a bigger chair?
And he looks at you and he says, I believe that we could accommodate you.
Thank you.
And you see Cameo, he kind of bows and then heads off. Now, as you guys are standing there, whatever, you see there at the far end of the table, there's a very, very large chair. Though the seat portion of the chair is low to the ground, but the chair itself is almost twice the width. It is done with gold embroidery on red velvet that is attached to it. Very fanciful. The wood is mahogany and it has pearl inlay that bears the symbol of whatever this, bears the symbol of the city. So just above or from behind this chair, you see there is a doorway. And the doorway is this massive archway. And the massive archway, it probably reaches like 20 foot high. So as you're looking, you're kind of checking this area out or whatever, and you look down at the end of this table, you see this chair. Just from above this chair, you see the glinting of what appears to be the points of a gold crown moving towards you guys. Stepping from around behind the chair, there is this halfling. He is garbed in incredibly royal garb. It's silk and velvet. It's red. It has this thick white fur that's draped around his neck that hangs all the way to the floor. This robe that he's wearing seems to stretch behind him for like 4 feet. He's standing there, and you see him. He approaches the table, and his face essentially is right where the table is. So you guys see from like his eyes up, and he's wearing this really elaborate crown with all of these jewels inlaid into it. And he pushes this big chair back and he sits in it. And when he sits in it, his chin is table height. And he says, he kind of looks at his hands as he holds his hands up. He kind of picks his finger, and you see that there are rings on every single finger. This man is very, very like decked out in jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks and he's like, I've been expecting you.
Damn, what was his name? The leader of the city's name again?
Shasta Casimir.
Shasta.
And he's like, so good of you to show, and I can't tell you how appreciative I am that you've come.
Just gonna look over at Victor, kind of with a
Hey, bro, how's it
odd
going?
look on my face, and then look back at the little guy.
I'm just gonna shake my head and then bow and say, "Your Majesty."
Oh, just like you see the wings go up and then straight back.
In interest of clarity, what is your official title so that I can address you properly?
Call me King. Looking at
Well,
fingers.
King Casimir, and I bow a little bit. So I understand we are here to deal with a dragon problem.
Yes, he's been quite a nuisance.
When he says that, I'm gonna use my my helmet of telepathy, and I'm gonna cast Detect Thoughts.
Okay.
It's a DC. It doesn't say what though. It's a DC 13.
So it's going to be
just from the helmet.
Save.
Okay.
It'll be your save DC. If the helmet doesn't specify,
it specifies. It says 13, but it doesn't say what.
So as you begin to, you take out your materials and you begin to move in the ways that you want to.
Oh no, it's my helmet.
Well, so it's just
Got you.
at
You're
will
right.
or command word, something like that.
Let me see.
It
Let me
is.
look up the helmet real quick.
Sorry, it's on my character sheet on the second page.
Okay.
I'll
Open up your character
says
sheet
while
real
wearing
quick.
this helmet, you can use an action to cast detect thoughts. I'll highlight it and post it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let me. He's gonna fail because when I roll on here. Oh! Wow. Okay.
Ooh, look at there.
DM actually rolled a save and succeeded on
Hit it.
it. Okay. So you don't get anything from him.
Okay.
So we'll just say. Yeah, because I guess I'll do some more research on the helmet itself or whatever, but for the time being, we'll just say that you don't have to do any of the normal spell casting, whatever. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. So obviously he wouldn't notice you casting the spell.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, so he seems to resist. He seems to resist your detect thought.
Okay.
Your Majesty,
Yes.
you say the dragon is a nuisance, and I won't disagree with you there, but seem to be having another problem in your city here, missing villagers and essentially a shortage of wealth. As I guess the village, the citizens of this kingdom are donating their wealth to the village, correct?
Well, I have heard rumors of such, yes.
Oh, so you're not directly involved in any of that.
We're not on a shortage of wealth, though some of our wealth is being funneled, I've heard. It's under investigation.
Oh, okay, so
He
you're not
says
aware of any of it
the
at all.
missing peoples, we have a very active mine here, and which is where most of our wealth comes from. And I imagine that it was probably just mining accidents.
Oh,
That's
okay.
generally what missing peoples are.
I'm gonna do an insight check on that.
Okay.
12.
So you definitely get the sense that there are, I mean, general knowledge is that if there's a mine shaft, every now and then you guys have a death that happens in the mine shaft.
But does he really think that's what it is? I guess is what I'm asking.
Well, in his arrogance, it's almost hard to tell if he's being sincere or if he just has no concern. Like he definitely, yeah, he's definitely not showing any concern for missing persons.
So that's not something you want us to look into. You just want us to deal with the dragon. Is that what I understand?
Well, I imagine that if the dragon were to have anything to do with it, it would stop.
One would think.
True enough. So you don't have any knowledge of, I don't know, villagers being sacrificed to the dragon to try and keep him at bay, or wealth being given to the dragon to try and keep it at bay by somebody maybe in power in town. Nothing like that.
Subtlety.
Goings,
Subtlety.
any goings on with the people of this city is generally beneath me. I allow the castle guard to handle those things.
Well, what have you done about the dragon up to now? It would be useful to know. Yes, Victor Apora? Maybe
Well,
you did something that might have angered them more, or something that was effective.
It seems like you don't care much about him.
I've spoken with my captain of the guard, and he says that we're not well equipped enough to handle the dragon ourselves, and so we've reached out to you. He says, so he goes on to explain that he feels like if they were to attempt facing the dragon themselves, that the number of casualties that they could incur would be too great for the city, and it would put the city at a detriment, and he wants to avoid that. He says where he does provide some of the materials that they mine to some of the neighboring cities or towns, or even to some of the neighboring kingdoms. He mentions that he has requested help and got none. And so he says that the guild has seemed to be the most promising option.
I don't want to alarm you, Your Majesty. I'm just curious. The line of succession here. Do you have any heirs at the moment?
He said, "Oh, I imagine I've probably got a few on the way."
Really? On the way?
Oh, yes, of course.
Very virile there, Your Majesty.
He says, "Well, one does what he can."
Insight check.
Go for it.
Can I cast guidance on myself as I do that? I was going to ask anyway.
Can you cast guidance on yourself? I guess so.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that a D4?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's like a verbal.
I guess we'll find out.
If you want to hide it, you can make a stealth check to see if you can
Hold
like
on.
whisper the words under your breath.
I gotta figure out how to cast spells in this damn thing.
Oh
there it
yeah.
is. Am I clicking on the actual word, or am I clicking on the little text bubble?
The
You
word.
click on the word.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it is verbal. Okay.
So I imagine
roll
like you
stealth.
touch yourself, but you like.
I'm gonna like bow and like kind of like seem like kind of humble. Have my hand on my.
Okay. Are you using common to
Uh,
cast the spell?
I didn't never even thought that I could cast in a different language. That actually is interesting. Huh. What other languages do I know? It should be on my sheet. It's not in the usual spot. Oh, okay, there it is.
Go
So
ahead.
DM, I was gonna ask a question as soon as Victor finished talking. Is it okay if I do that? Oh, would that cover part of his spell casting?
It would
That
add,
may-
add
I was
to
gonna
it.
say it in celestial.
Okay.
Which I
Yeah.
highly doubt he
Mhm.
speaks.
I'll let you,
and I'll also roll
a
stealth.
stealth roll, but do so with advantage.
And I would ask,
20.
King Casimir, I think it sounds like in your infinite wisdom and power, there's not a whole lot more you can offer us in dealing with the dragon. Could you perhaps get us an audience with this head captain of the guard that you've spoken of so far?
Oh, well, I believe I can try, but he might be away on duty.
This is very important. We will not move forward without having all details at hand, in interest of protecting our guild and their interests.
Oh, very well. I assume that he's somewhere in the city. He could probably be retrieved. So when
It's 16 on the
you
inside.
cast guidance on yourself, and you're kind of checking him out or whatever. So there is a nervousness, a fear. Well, what you kind of get the idea of is perhaps the implication was that he has been sleeping with many women because he's afraid that he's infertile.
Okay. All right.
So that's what you get. That's what you
That's
get.
terrible. I shouldn't laugh at that. That's actually pretty
So
kind of interesting.
he says, "Oh, Vasily," and you see the little 15-year-old boy come back in, and he says, "Fetch me the captain of the guard, please." And he says, "Yes, sir." And he bows very, very low. And one of the things, you guys make a insight check. Everybody make an insight check.
Gonna guide myself again.
12.
Yeah, make another one.
Okay.
So this is not for him. This is for the boy. Okay, so
got
one
a
of the
12.
things
Guidance.
that Kilgore and Apora, which Victor, you rolled a 3. Kilgore and Apora, you rolled 12s. One of the things that you guys note is when Cameo Vasily bows, he bows to make sure that his head is lower than Shasta's head. So he's bowed at the waist and bending at the knees, almost as if to position himself into a squat. So he stands back up and he makes his way outside. And he opens and he shuts the door. And then it's just a few minutes and he comes back into the front door. And as he comes back into the front door, one of the guardsmen that you guys saw standing on either side of the portcullis that swung open has followed him in.
DM, the whole time we were waiting, could Kilgore have just been telling stories?
Well, it's only like a minute or two.
I mean, it doesn't matter if it was like 30 seconds. You know, this building reminds me of one that I remember hearing about in up north. The old story. It crumbled, but it was very nice for a while. It's awfully quiet in here.
It's weird how he bowed lower than the other dude.
So Cameo comes back in with the guardsman, and he bows very lowly again, and the guard that is with him does the same thing. And so the guardsman stands back up and he says, "You called for me, King Shasta." And he's like, "Yes, these fine gentlemen here wish to speak with you." And he's like, okay.
What's up, bro?
I'm gonna lean over towards Victor and Apora and try and whisper. Hey,
Okay.
you want to maybe go for a walk with the captain and talk to him outside the prying ears? And I'm gonna do that with a attempt at stealth.
I'm gonna assist if that's possible.
That was a 19 stealth roll.
Can you assist in things like that? I don't know.
I would get advantage if DM allows.
So what would have to happen is you would first have to recognize his intent to be stealthful with it. And then if you recognize the intent, which, given that it's a whisper, it would be a very low DC, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then would have the ability to, but you guys note that, his whispering seems to, like as soon as you disengage in conversation with Shasta, he seems to lose interest.
Okay.
So his attention is immediately turned away from you guys.
The only guard in the room right now?
Yes.
Can I cast Detect Thoughts on him?
On the guard?
Yeah, using my helmet. Yeah. Well, see, the helmet says I use an action. It doesn't say there's a limit.
Well, you're not in...
That just implies how long it takes to activate it, right? It's just like anything else.
Okay, so I should be fine then, right?
Right.
It does say at the bottom. It says the helm.
That's for suggestion.
Oh, for suggestion?
Yeah, that's for suggestion, yeah.
Gotcha.
You can use a bonus action to send a telepathic message to a creature you're focused on. It can reply using a bonus action to do so while your focus on it continues. While focusing with Detect Thoughts, you can use an action to cast the Suggestion spell.
Hmm.
The Suggestion property can't be used again until the next dawn.
Okay.
Right.
So 6 seconds to cast the spell, essentially.
I'm going to use it on the guard. I'm going to use just to detect thoughts.
Okay. Here goes
DC
DM's
13.
failing rolls. Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
So as you're listening to him, he first comes in or whatever, and he's okay, King Shasta, you called for me, and then so there's fear. He's afraid. He's like, so you hear him. He's like, oh my God, what'd I do this time? Is he gonna kill me? Is it? I need to get stuff ready. I'm probably gonna have to say bye to my family or something, and then King Shasta says, these fine gentlemen want to talk to you. And he's like, he looks over and he's like, oh God, they're going to kill me. I know they're going to kill me. This is not good. He's like, these people look, they look formidable. Oh, there's no way I'm fighting. I'm just going to give up. I'm going to surrender. And that's what he's thinking right now. He's like, this is not going to go well for us. I hope they're allies. They better be allies. This is not going to be good.
I mean, do we notice him being nervous? Is he visibly nervous?
Yeah.
He was. Yeah.
He's visibly nervous. He's very.
Hey.
So did you respond to what I said? Just quietly.
Me?
About. Yeah. I looked at both of you. I turned over to both of y'all and quietly asked if what y'all thought about taking the captain for a walk and talking with him privately.
I mean,
sure. He's scared. He's afraid we're gonna kill him.
Are you also trying to be stealthful in your response, or are you just saying?
I would imagine. I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna be stealthful.
Whispering the conversation. I'm gonna cast guidance on myself.
Okay.
And I mean, you said assist. I mean, if we're in a whispering conversation, I'm assuming I'm just trying to assist in keeping the conversation stealthy.
Okay, so Apora, as soon as you say that, you whisper that or whatever, you hear him say under his breath, "Oh God, he can read my mind. Oh God, he can read my mind."
Hey, easy, bro. Take it easy.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn around to
I'm gonna
the
tell him
king
to
and
calm
go.
down.
No, the king left, right? You said the king
So
left?
the king is sitting there, but
No, he's sitting there.
As soon as you disengage from him, he seems to immediately lose interest in you.
I'm going to say, King Casimir, and I'm going to bow as low as I can while being forced to stand because nobody brought me a chair.
Okay.
Which is still going to be nowhere near below him.
Right.
If you don't mind, we won't waste any more of your time. We will go on a tour of the city with your captain and make it as brief as possible. I roll a persuasion.
I
Yeah.
will assist in the persuasion check
Oh,
and
cool.
guide him.
I'm gonna roll 2.
I
That's
guided
20.
you. I guided you.
Was that this? Okay, and then I'll roll my die 4.
Yeah, so roll a die 4, add it to your highest roll.
Jesus.
Oh, that's
Yes.
16 is my total persuasion. Wait, that was with your. You gave me. Wait, you also gave me guidance. Oh, then I get to add 2 died 4.
Well, what was the first one for?
It's for my cloak.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So 19.
So he looks and he's like, "Yes, I suppose." He says, "Cameo, go stand at the gate in his place, will you?" And he
just used his kid to replace his highest.
Yes. So the kid bows really, really low.
Is there only like 3 of y'all, or what's going on? Am I missing something?
I'm just going to turn and start walking towards the door.
Okay.
I'm gonna
grab the guard and push him out.
Okay, I was gonna say if he's still nervous, I was gonna try to persuade him to calm down, but never mind. He's being grabbed by the neck by Goliath, so I don't know if it's gonna.
When you grab him and you push him out, he falls on his face. Like as soon as you grabbed him, he started drawing his feet up.
Oh, kill
I
her.
would have just picked him up. I'm not even entertained by it. I'm just like, oh, it's okay. I get that sometimes. You know, there was this this younger cousin of mine back
Okay,
in the mountains.
as he's telling him the story and walking off, I'm just gonna.
Every time his dad came in the door, he pissed himself. It was hilarious.
Uh,
And I just walk out the door with him.
I'm gonna just look at the king and be like, "Your Majesty, we'll try to resolve this issue in your kingdom here. Do you have any interests in maybe hiring anyone else for protection, possibly? I mean, I'm sure our guild would gladly send someone here,
He
given
says,
a deal to be brokered between the two.
"Oh, don't worry. I'm very well protected."
Oh,
Insight.
can you protect yourself?
Insight.
Yeah, roll an insight check.
Oh.
Well, I'm just going to ask him a follow-up question. Just are you protecting yourself? Because the
Oh, no,
two
no.
people here don't seem that.
I'm not protecting myself.
Oh, I'm very
Don't
curious.
you worry.
I mean, well, I had to be at least a little concerned. We just took your captain. We were taking your captain with us temporarily, and you have a 15-year-old boy guarding your home
He's
here.
like looking at you, and he's got this look on his face that's like, "Are you serious right now?" And
I'm just concerned for you, sir.
he says, "I would not be king if I did not have protection." He
Oh,
says,
I understand. You have, I'm gonna do air quotes, protection. I understand.
he says, "Yes, I have," and he does air quotes, "protection."
Yes. I'm gonna do detect magic
Okay. Yeah, cast detect magic.
in the room here.
We're gonna be out of fucking spells by the time we get to the.
No, I've only used cantrips. I've only used
This
cantrips.
is just
We're
my
good.
helmet.
I don't even have detect
Magic's a
magic.
cantrip? Holy fuck.
No. I don't even have it.
You
Never
can
mind.
make an Arcana check if you want to.
Yeah, I'll do that. Guidance is a cantrip. Is what I was saying. Sorry.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I
Yeah.
like guidance.
Arcana check.
It's pretty good. It's one of the best cantrips in my opinion.
20.
Okay. So you get a very heavy sense of magic in this area, in this room even. So it is definitely there is definitely magic here. The sense of the magic that you get is one of something emanating of potentially invisibility. That's kind of what you feel. Like you feel like the similarities between any kind of invisibility magic and the magic that is permeating through this room are very great. They're very, very, very similar. Almost as if you guys are not alone.
Okay. Is it coming from a specific part of the room? Am I able to tell that at all? Or is it just
It is all
feeling?
through the room.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna bow, not as low as he would like. And
Okay.
I'm going to bid him adieu and leave. And then is Abora already out? Abora,
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm literally gonna go later, bro, and I'm just gonna walk out without bowing.
Okay.
Make
Let's
a
see.
perception check, Apora.
19.
As you're walking out, I imagine you're the last one to walk out.
Yeah.
As you're walking out, you hear King Shasta say something. So as you're like just making your way out of the door, he says, I don't know if I like them or not. And he says, "But especially that last one." Then you hear a second voice in the room, and it says, "Should I take care of him?" And you hear the king say, "No, no, not yet."
Okay.
And then you shut the door behind you. So you guys proceed along with the guard captain, right? Or who has been labeled the guard captain.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch up
wait,
to
I'm
Kilgore.
carrying him. Is he? Can I? When we walk out, can I like set him? Okay, look, stand. I'm not going to tear you like a loose bag of potatoes whole way.
And he puts his legs down.
There you go. Now, what are you afraid of? We're hired here to come and help you people with the dragon. Why are you acting like pissant?
Am
Is
I,
this
am I
man
hearing
caught
him
up?
say this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You guys are all
Okay,
wait,
so is
wait.
my
Are
detect
we
thought
in
still
earshot of
going?
anybody? That's what I'm trying to make sure. For this
So
guy
you guys are
answers.
still within the castle walls.
Yeah,
I'm
or
going to
with-
suggest to Kilgore that we get out of the castle if we're going to ask him any questions. I'm going to whisper that if I can.
So
Okay,
I mean
I grabbed
the
the guy
walls
by the
surrounding the mansion.
So I grabbed the guy by his shoulders and put him leading in front of me, making sure he stays upright, holding his shoulders, and walk out.
Do I
Okay.
hear any of his thoughts after he asked the question?
Oh, yeah, I could do that.
Do you
That
hear any of
concept.
his thoughts?
Yeah, since it's
How long does it last?
I think it's a minute. If it's been longer than a minute, that's fine.
Yeah, so it's been longer than that. So you have to
Okay.
guess it again.
All
But
right,
you could.
I'll try it.
Okay.
Yeah. For sake of clogging up the side, I'm just going to cast Detect Thoughts from my helmet.
Okay. So he goes on to express that his name is Maleric Goodwort. He lives in the city near here. Which you guys know that it's not, it's not the most formidable city. It's a fairly small city.
And what was his last name again? It's Maleric
Goodwort.
Goodwort.
Yeah. So as you guys are walking with him, some of the thoughts that you hear are, he's still afraid. He feels reassured that the giant has said that he's not going to kill him, but he's still afraid of that possibility. And so he says, in his head, he's thinking, he needs to be alert. He needs to, stay on his toes if he's going to survive this.
Who else? Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
So Kilgore, when you ask him that, he's like, just a lot all the time. It's just a lot all the time. You have the dragons and
I'm going to, as he's stammering, I'm just going to lean in really close to his face. And I'm going to cast, oh, we're not going to cast anything. I'm going to just ask him directly. Who else was in the room with us outside of everyone here?
Make an intimidation check.
You heard it too?
I'm just going to put my finger up to my...
Right.
I'm going to assist with that intimidate.
Okay, he said it as I was doing it. I don't know. Okay, cool.
You can roll an advantage.
I mean, I'll roll my own if you want.
Either or.
It don't matter. I was gonna assist, but I didn't even see his roll.
So Victor, you can roll again. Victor rolled a nat 1.
Oh, he did. Oh my god.
All right.
So Victor, you can roll again.
Okay. 26.
That's weird.
Oh shit.
And he's looking and he's like,
you should really answer him.
They showed up and I don't know who they are. And
there's more than one person. All right, reading somewhere.
And he's like, oh, I really shouldn't be telling you this. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Calm him down. I'm gonna use persuasion to calm him
down. Okay, so make your persuasion check. What do you want to say to try
I'm
and calm
I'm, s-
him
I-
down?
I'm just saying we will protect you. I'm sure you can see that we are formidable. Calm down. Take a breath. Tell us clearly and concisely who these people are, to the best of your knowledge.
And he says,
Do I need to roll persuasion on that or no?
yeah, roll a persuasion. Roll a
Okay, I'm gonna
persuasion.
guide myself.
Okay.
All right. So, D4. Okay. And all this stuff. Huh, 12.
Okay. And he's like,
Alrighty.
so his demeanor seems to calm a little bit, but not much. Um,
Okay.
and you kind of get the feeling that the anxiety that permeates through this particular gentleman is something that has probably been here for a while.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, they're very dangerous. They're very dangerous people." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know who they are. The king has only made me aware that people would be in the room, but he hasn't told me much about them." And he says, I've heard them talking quite a few times, and oh, they're not good." And he says, they haven't done any harm to anybody that I know of. Um, and so he goes on to explain everything that he knows about the people that were in the room. And he says that these men showed up one day. Um, he says that two of them are drow, two of them are half elves, and one of them is human. They all showed up one day posing as politicians or diplomats or something, um, wanting to speak to the king with the intent to partner to grow the city, to provide land to the kingdom. He says that there was some deceit there, and um, mentions that he feels that rather than there being any kind of negotiation between them and the king, they now seem to make more of the decisions in the kingdom than the king does. Uh, and he says that he hasn't been allowed to sit in any of their discussions or whatever. He says that the what seems to be the most prominent is they provide him with great wealth and women should he desire it, and
Hmm.
they run everything that goes on, and that's what seems to be the case. Um,
You said drow and a half elf?
two drow, two half elves, and a human.
You seen their faces?
He says only briefly. Um, and he knows that he's had spells cast on him. He said that they used to have a much larger contingency of guard at the castle, but all of those guard were essentially let go.
Well,
Uh,
and they stay in the room all the time, so they're invisible.
he says he doesn't know. He
They were
knows
definitely
sometimes
present in
they
there.
reveal themselves in the room, and sometimes they go invisible in the room. He doesn't know if they stay in the room all the time.
Okay, I
He
have a
says
solution for this.
he has been at the post of the gate to the castle for a few months now.
Did they have any marks, or do they say something like some sort of guild or anything that may be a
Do you
part
have
of?
any names, particularly the half elves?
He said the only thing that he noticed as they were approaching is they all had some sort of tattoo around their right eye. He said he wasn't 100% sure what the symbol was, and he assumed that it was a symbol of the kingdom that they came from.
Can you describe it to us?
He said he didn't see it in detail.
You don't have any names.
He says he knows that the tattoo itself goes around the eye and stretches up and down some.
Okay.
Um, So he says that he's heard two names being said, and he doesn't know if it's the names of the people there or if it's names of the people there, or if it's names of somebody that are associated with the people there. And the only reason that he heard them or has heard them is because he was either transferring from his post through to the mess hall to get something to eat, or to the dining hall to get something to eat, rather, or has walked in on meetings that were going on. So the first one that he mentions is Sheeb, and the other one that he mentions is Ikiru.
What were those names again? Akiru?
Sheeb and Ikiru.
Akibru with a B?
No, just Aru. Like Ikiru.
So, like, what do y'all think? Should we try to take them out?
I mean, just needlessly attack them without knowing what they actually have, they're capable of.
I have a way to reveal them if we need to, but my worry is, so what was in our contract? We were just wanting, we were taking out the dragon for this city's favor, or how is it worded exactly?
So you're to kill the dragon. The city has offered its favor to the guild, essentially.
But the question is now, if we kill the dragon, would we actually get the favor of the city? Seeing as how the city isn't really ruled by
So,
king at the moment.
as you guys are talking about this or whatever, Maverick speaks up and he says he doesn't think that killing the dragon was the king's idea.
What did he actually want us to do then?
Just get our attention.
Well, he says, oh, the contract is real. He says he doesn't think that. He said that the dragon seems to have been where it is for longer than the people having shown up. But he says that when the people showed up, that's when the captain or when the king drafted the contract and sent it off.
So like they might want something out of the dragon's hoard.
What?
Interesting.
Was the dragon not bothering y'all before that then? When did all this start?
He says, so 3 months ago is when the people showed up. 4 months ago is when the dragon showed up. And he says, so for the first month, there was fear in the city, and the dragon definitely seemed to pose a threat, though it never had initiated a direct attack on the city.
Interesting.
And so the Maverick is there, and he's like, says, look, yeah, guys, look, I really don't want to, and he says, if you guys would be fine, just, if take care of the dragon and everything here will be fine. I would like to not be involved, and so he kind of goes on to express his desire to you guys that he wants no part of essentially anything that's going on.
Fair enough.
If bro, if you leave now, we can't protect you.
He says, I just want to go back to my post. They know. They know. And if they decided, you wouldn't be able to protect me anyways.
Okay. So I'm just gonna tell him to just go stand over somewhere else for a minute while we confer.
And he's like, I've not heard anything, and
Yeah,
am
just
and will
stay an
not
eye
hear
shot of
anything,
us.
and I am going to stand away in eye shot. And
Yeah.
he like you watch him, and as he's walking away, he has not turned his back. He is in fact walking backwards, and he's walking backwards away from you guys, and
That's far enough.
like trips over a rock,
Yep.
and then like stands up and he's like watching, but he's also like nervously looking around to see what all's around him.
Yeah. So I'm more interested in the people in that room than I am the dragon at the moment. Just gonna put that out there.
Understandable.
I mean, I don't
I'm
really
worried
like. Oh,
worried
go ahead.
about their intention. I mean, we were hired to do a job. I'm fine doing the job. But if there is underhanded things going on and manipulation, that does not have the best interest of our guild in mind.
Oh no,
DM, do
I
we
don't.
have a way to communicate with guild headquarters at distance like this?
So there's definitely a way from the ship to send a message.
Can I just fly to the ship real quick?
Wait, say that again.
So you can send a message.
Okay.
One of the people on the ship has the capacity to send a message.
Okay, I say, well, we don't have to. I can just pass it along. You don't have to go up there.
Okay.
I pull a small silver figurine out of my pocket.
Okay.
And it turns into a silver raven. And then I have to cast Animal Messenger on it, which I believe should. Can I drop this in? It's not, maybe so, kind of, sort of. Up to 25 words.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I'll just have the bird fly up to the person that would send the message.
Okay.
In the ship, and convey that that King Casimir appears to be under the control of some shadowy individuals, and that are manipulating him and possibly the city. Is this known, and should we proceed? And how should we proceed? And does that sound good to y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro.
Okay. That way we can continue trying to gather information down here. Not waste time with it. Silver Raven flies off.
Okay. Okay.
Alright.
I think we might have to check that village.
It's probably our next stop. We've talked to people around the city. We've talked to Captain of Guard.
We haven't talked to the people in that room.
True. I think we should wait till we get the word back on how to proceed with that, though.
What's the conversation going to?
Well, I'm going to have to set the lantern down in front of them, light it, and then reveal their invisibility. I think that's going to possibly cause some tensions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on how they react.
True.
When we were walking out, I heard them say that they didn't like us, especially me. And I heard
very
another voice say, "Do you want me to take care of it?" And the king said, "Not now."
Oh, not now, but later.
Okay, DM, I want to pull my Lantern of Revealing out and go ahead and put a pint of oil in it.
Okay.
And out of my bag of holding, put a pint of oil and go ahead and light it.
Okay.
When I light it, does it reveal anything within 30 feet of us that
No.
was invisible? Okay, I'm going to put it back in. It'll stay lit for 6 hours. I'm
Okay.
just going to put it back in the bag of holding.
Okay.
Lit. It shouldn't. Nothing should happen in there. It's just in stasis. Extra dimensional, blah, blah, blah. So it should be fine.
I don't know as if it's a vacuum because people can suffocate.
Oh, well, then I'll put it out. If I think it being lit would be a problem, I'll put it
Well,
out.
it would go out as soon as you put it in.
Yeah, I think it'll. What you have X number of hours of air, but
It's something like that.
yeah, I'll put it out.
I'm trying to remember exactly what that is.
I just have to strike my flint and steel again and light it again. No big deal.
I think I'll look this up later.
Okay. I'm down to 1 pint of oil. I'm sorry, 2 pints of oil, and 1 in the lantern.
Well, I'm all for going in that room and having a conversation. You can't see me smiling, but I'm smiling when I say that.
I agree, but not until we get the order to do so. If they tell us they know and to leave it be, then that's our orders.
They want to kill us.
Well, if they try and kill us, then they will find great difficulty. And the flaming greatsword in their belly. So,
Out of character, what kind of great sword is it?
flame tongue.
Got the same thing, bro. Just a long sword.
Well, I say we're a kinship. There you go. All right. So, well, what do you say we talk to the young kid at the front gate for a moment, then? He's the man's son.
That's his son?
Right? Is that the way I understand it? Or he's not his son?
I thought it was just a kid. You said he was just like a court jester, correct?
Yes.
Oh. He just had this weird way of walking. Well, let's go talk to him anyway.
Properly trained.
Yeah, why did he bow like super low?
That's a good question. I wonder if those, and I'm gonna just start walking back towards the front gate.
Okay.
I'll direct the captain to follow us.
Yeah, so he's like, the captain of the guard is like he's looking all around or whatever, and he's like watching you guys, and then as you start to walk back towards the front gate, he's like wanting to move like closer to follow you, but he's not sure, and he's like kind of.
I'm like, come on! I'm gonna pull the lantern back out and relight it and just like hang it from my shoulder. I'm like, look, if anybody comes walking around with a little invisibility, we will see them. Okay?
And he's like,
You have nothing to fear right now.
Okay.
Dean, what time of day is it?
So it's afternoon.
Afternoon.
It's like early afternoon. So.
Gotcha.
There's a chill on the wind. You guys feel a breeze blowing in, as if it's like coming down off of the mountain. It's a pretty cool wind.
So we get to the front gate without too much trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Detect thoughts on the jester or the kid.
Okay. So, what was your name again, young man?
He says, Cameo, sir.
Cameo.
Vasily.
Right. Cameo Vasily. I like that name. That's a good name.
It's like, thank you. So as you're detecting thoughts on him or whatever, he definitely has a little, like his thoughts jump around a bit. So he has a little ADD going on there. He's looking out into the city, and you hear him. He's like, "Man, I sure wish some excitement would happen." he says, I wonder how things are going to play out. He says, and those guys definitely look awesome. And then you hear
Talking
him,
about us or
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
You
And
just
he's
hear
like, as he sees you guys approaching or whatever, and you guys walk up or whatever, he's like, oh, here they come. He says, oh, good, the captain's back. Maybe I can leave this post. And you hear him. He also thinks, I wonder if they would take me with them. I'll have to ask Mom.
How did you end up in this position?
And he says, well, my parents always urged me to fall into royal servitude in some way. They say it gains the family favor.
Mm. You noticed anything strange while you've been in service of the king?
He says, oh, yeah, but I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Oh.
What is he thinking about?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay because we're friends. I assume I know Apora pretty well. I know he has that helm. Yes.
Yes.
Is it? Can I roll a insight to see if I think Apora is using the helm?
So you guys have worked together before, so you're familiar with situations like this, and you would absolutely assume that Apora is using his helm.
Right. All right, I'm just going to try and ask questions that make the kid think about stuff.
Okay.
Well, why wouldn't you want to tell us? I mean, we're here to help.
And
what would those people be doing? I mean,
so
are they bad people?
We didn't mention people. We didn't mention people. You're jumping ahead.
He said the people.
He's saying, or he's thinking to himself. He's like,
I'm just rambling on. It's like
he's thinking to himself. He's like, oh, I hope they don't ask about the guys inside. Oh, does he mean the guys inside? Oh no. and he's like, I can't talk about them.
I'm gonna just lean in as I see. Is his eyes darting? Is there anything visually going on that he's got stuff popping up in his head?
So he doesn't really. Oh yeah, his eyes are darting, showing lots of thought going on for sure.
I'm gonna just lean in real close to him and whisper in his ear.
Yeah.
What about the invisible people in the king's banquet hall?
So poor you hear him, he's like, how do they know about those people? And he's like, oh, I bet they have their own magic too. And he's like, oh, I bet they could even stand up to those people. And he says verbally out loud, he's like, oh, I don't really know about them. And he's thinking, he's like, I would love to get away from these people. And he says,
I'm just going to whisper in his ear again. Of course. How many would there be if there were invisible people?
and he's like, oh, he's thinking to himself, he's like, oh, I don't know if I should tell them that there are only 5 in there. And he thinks to himself, he says, oh, but I don't know if these guys, or he's thinking, he's like, I don't know if these guys are powerful enough to take them out.
I'm just like looking over at Apora, waiting for like some sort of inclination that he got something useful.
So
I'm just Forrest's just like, it's okay, man. You don't have to tell us anything. And I just do the little.
You hear his thoughts or whatever, and he thinks to himself, I wonder if I should tell them about the amulets. And then
amulet.
No, we didn't we need to get something here in town before we went off on our way.
And he's like, oh, what did you need? I can help you find a place.
Something like a jewelry, like some kind of magical jewelry.
I'm just like, well, we
something about some magical amulets, I believe, or necklaces.
But
He's like, oh, y'all need to purchase some magical amulets?
Someone said someone here had some in the city. I just don't recall where they said they were.
And he's thinking to himself, and he's like, oh man, I hope they don't ask me about those guys again. He's
Someone
like,
said
all of
someone
them
showed
have
up in town recently, within the last 4 months, I believe. They had these magical amulets, and they just said they were really powerful. I don't know.
As Victor's saying this, he thinks to himself, did they find out about the guys in town? Is that why they're really here?
Hey,
I
so
couldn't tell what the amulets did, though. I'm very curious what those amulets could do. You ever heard of magical amulets? Have you, son? Anything in regards to those?
And he says out loud, he's like, well, I probably shouldn't say anything. And he says,
So you have heard something.
but it seems like you know. And he's thinking in his brain, oh, I've not just heard something. He's thinking, I've seen it happen.
I'm just gonna whisper in his ear, you just have to think about it.
And he's like,
I'm like kneeling down on one knee. This big Goliath just like up to his ear, like, it's okay. You don't have to say a word.
and he's like, I would feel better not talking about it. And
Don't talk, just think.
talk about what?
and so he's thinking to himself, he's like, well, I'm not really sure what this Goliath means about thinking about it. And this is one of the weirdest things that's happened to me. And he's like, he's thinking about all the various circumstances. He's like, I don't know if I should just mention to them about the amulets making the guys disappear. He's like, or if I should mention that it seems like they only have to don the amulet a certain way. He's like, he's thinking all this stuff or whatever, and he's like, so if I don't have to talk about it, and he's saying this out loud.
Yo, Kilgore, just it's okay, man. He doesn't have to tell us anything, man.
And he's like, so if I don't have to talk about anything, do you guys are we good now?
We can.
I'm looking at Apora. I'm like,
Yeah, we don't have to bother him anymore.
yes, we're good. We're very good.
You're resolute in your thoughts, young man.
I pull one gold piece out and put it in his palm. Very good job, young man. I'm very
And
proud of you.
He looks at it and he has this confused look on his face. And he's like, oh, okay, well, thanks, guys.
Maybe you can show us where to buy lightning resistance potions. I think my two friends might need it a little while. And that is your fee for leading us around town. Captain, you've got the gate? Yes? Very good. Okay.
And he's like, and he's looking nervously between the kid and you guys, and he's like, should we clear it with King Shasta first?
Nope.
I don't know if I should.
Nope, we're good. Thank you for not telling us anything useful whatsoever. Goodbye.
Take care, dude. Or bro.
Should I roll a deception, DM, on that statement that I just blurted out loud?
I'm going to guide you.
Oh, okay, guidance. That's a 4. But with guidance, maybe it'll be an 8.
With his nervousness and everything, he doesn't seem to react in any kind of way to present any opposition in the decision that you guys have made. So he's not doing anything to refute or refuse what you guys are deciding to do.
Okay.
And he's like, I just, and then you guys hear him kind of under his breath. He's like, oh God, I'm going to die. He's going to kill me. I'm going to die. And he kind of steps back over to his place next to the gate.
So now we have a 15-year-old court jester.
Yes. Leading you guys around town.
Has
Um,
the bird come back yet? Any
Yes, bird has come back.
message?
So the message that you get from the bird is that this is something unexpected. The king signed that himself, signed the contract himself, and to carry out the contract, but find out as much more information as you can about the circumstances. And so that's what you guys get back.
Okay, that sounds like an open writ to investigate, Victor.
Mm-hmm.
Apura, did you get anything useful from?
I let him know
he's
everything.
standing right here. Never mind.
I pull the three to the side. Hey kid, why don't you just give us a moment?
Hey, I toss him another gold. Grab us some snacks from the vendors nearby. Bring it back to us in a minute, please.
The crunchy ones.
He bows low, and you guys note that when he bows, he bows the same height that he does normally when he's in the castle.
Jesus Christ.
And he stands back up, and he kind of
Bro,
walks
none of
off.
that here, man. We're friends.
All right, so figurine goes back to normal size, goes back in my pocket. I pass that information on to everybody, exactly what was said.
As do I
Yeah.
about the amulets and everything.
Okay. Given what we know, I vote we go into that room and eliminate the complication.
No, understandable. But if they are the source of the wealth, then we might lose the whole reason to be here.
Has this city only been affluent the last 3 months? Would we know that?
Would we know that?
So that is some information. You guys would have gleaned some information about the city before having come here.
Yeah.
So this has been an established city, and typically the wealth comes from the mine itself.
Oh, okay.
So whatever you guys kind of make the assumption, or kind of make the assumption, that if there is any additional wealth that has been added, it has been added only to the king and directly to the king, either as as some sort of payment for like hush money, or potentially for exploitation of the king, or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So with all of that, it is 11 o'clock.
I know we went. I was about to say, I know we went an hour past when you wanted.
Right.
Hey guys.
Well, so I was going to mention to you guys, I know this was like technically supposed to be a one shot.
I'm invested.
But it's in, yeah, let's continue.
Literally.
You are very invested. We can continue this. We don't, we can pick up with our regular campaign stuff on Friday. No, we can't, because Friday's New Year's.
Well, I mean,
Well, I guess we could if y'all wanted to play New Year's Day.
I'm totally fine with that, unless someone has plans.
so that's New Year's Day, right?
Right. That's
New
not
Year's
New
Day.
Year's
Oh
Day.
yeah, New Year's Day. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm fine with that.
So yeah, I'd be good for that too. I think
New Year's Eve.
yeah. Are you guys working? Are y'all working? Is everybody
Yeah.
working New Year's Day?
New Year's Day.
Yeah, are you guys working?
I'm working like 9 to 2, so it's not
On New Year's Day?
Yeah.
Ron, you're working?
Yeah, I think it's like, I have to check it, but it's something like that too.
Okay. I was talking to Zach or whatever. We were talking about getting some folks together.
Wait, are we broadcasting this?
Oh yeah.
Work schedules, home address, social security number, last four of our most used credit card.
All right, thank you guys. This is.
Yeah, we hope that you guys have enjoyed tonight's like little spin-off, kind of one-off or whatever. Apparently, it's going to have a continuation. Obviously, it's going to have a continuation, though this continuation will be a little fewer and a little more far. So, but I believe that the rest of the cast of our normal campaign is also going to end up a part of this at some point. So I don't know exactly when this particular portion of storyline is going to show up again. But it will at some point. So yeah, we're going to keep it going. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and everybody have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Keep an eye out for new videos posted at times.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.